But they have to let us do the job that the voters want us to do. Judges are interfering supposedly based on due process, but how can you give due process to people who came into our country illegally? They want to give them due process. I don't know. My administration has increased arrests of known and suspected terrorists by 655%. Is that okay? We tried to get it higher. But the courts are giving us a hard time. Can you believe? I won on the basis of, I think the number one thing was on illegal immigration, the border, and now the courts are trying to say that, that doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to be allowed to stand. And also, we cannot allow a handful of communist, radical left judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws and assume the duties that belong solely to the President of the United States. Judges are trying to take away the power given to the President to keep our country safe, and we have to do something. These people are just looking to destroy our country. But we're being impeded by judges from doing our job. If somebody could criticize me for that. These are rogue judges. These are radical left, generally radical left, horrible judges.
You mentioned this last night in your speech in Macomb, that we're facing an unprecedented situation where there's a lot of abuses of nationwide injunctions, sort of seemingly designed to curtail your power. Have you spoken to your team about ways to mitigate this and continue to deliver to the American people?
Well, there are ways to mitigate it, and there's some very strong ways. There's one way that's been used by 3 very highly respected presidents, but we hope we don't have to go that route. But there is one way that has been used very successfully by 3 presidents, all highly respected, and hopefully we don't have to go that way. But there are ways of mitigating that.
The millions of illegal aliens have been released from this country in violation of federal law.
We're going to hammer away and make sure that we clean up our streets and give the American people back their country.
We are not going to allow a district court judge to try to become the Secretary of State. Those are the terrorists that President Trump is finding and apprehending that our Democrat judges and Democrat activists are trying to keep on U.S. soil. It is a sad reflection on the state of our media and many of the outlets represented in this room that you obsessively try to shill for this MS-13 terrorist.
Can I ask the Doge question? Can I ask about Doge?
And I don't know what's broken in the Washington press corps. The only thing that gets them exercised is, do we need to have more trials for terrorist supporters? Do we need to have more trials for gangbangers? Do we need to have more trials for illegal alien invaders? Even though Congress and the Constitution clearly say that you can expel invaders and illegal aliens quickly, efficiently, and properly. This president has literally saved America, and I could not be prouder. I could not be prouder, as I know Caroline feels the same way.
Gang members and other...
Anything to say about this?
Reason it has earned that title.
Have you been in touch with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia? Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge. So we will conduct foreign policy appropriately if we need to. But I'll never discuss it. And no one will ever make us discuss it, because that's how foreign policy works.
We all know Donald Trump's fondness for autocrats, and we know he sees the rule of law as a nuisance. He considers the truth to be an inconvenience, and now he's taking a page out of the book of the dictators and autocrats he admires, like Bukele, and expelling American citizens with no due process.
The highest court in the nation ruled that Kilmer should be returned home. So why are they still waiting? Enough is enough.
Bring him home! Bring him home! And there's some very strong ways. There's one way that's been used by 3 very highly respected.
only in the most urgent and dire of situations. We are not in one of those situations now. I do not support invoking the Insurrection Act.
You're fired. We're just not going to allow it. So hopefully the Supreme Court will come to the rescue. Because they're already looking to impeach Trump. You know, these crazy people. Let's impeach him. For what? We don't know exactly, but we'll try it. These people are crazy.